Welcome back to Sky Sports News. Arsenal are out of the Champions League. They lost on the night at 3-2 to Wolfsburg. But Rhian Skinner, what a performance across the two legs. Not only the actual performance on the pitch, but just how much determination they showed to come back so many times.
Yeah, I think they've been fantastic, honestly. I think there's so many positives to take from this. I think, you know, clearly you're going to be in a headspace of disappointment when you're so close to something that you worked incredibly hard for. But I think that some of the biggest positives to take out of it, you know, we've mentioned about the injured players, but these players have stepped up in the last few weeks in terms of their performances for Arsenal and have just worked incredibly hard. And so, you know, sometimes you need a little bit of adversity for people to be able to step up and show what they're about. And some players here have had more chances and opportunity than maybe what they would have if those players had been available. And I think they've been excellent. So it's difficult, but at the same time, I think there's so many positives to take from it.
How much does the manner of the defeat, how much will that affect them? Because it is quite different losing to a last gasp goal like that than it would have been if they'd been completely played off the park.
Yeah, I think it's tough to take, but I think what you find with players usually is that obviously the mistake that was made will play on, you know, a lot of Wubben Moyes' mind and the players in and around her that maybe could have affected that slightly differently. But everybody else will rally around her because they'll know that that's obviously something that she potentially could dwell on. And, you know, they're still in the fight for winning the league. You know, they're still in the battle for a Champions League spot for next year. And you don't really have a lot of time to dwell on these things when you're in the middle of a season. But I think collectively they'll obviously rally round her, as I say, and make sure that she's okay and try and pick her up. And she's a true professional lot. I mean, she's an incredible person, and I think that based on the way she approaches things, I think she'll, with the support around her, hopefully move on from that quickly. Because again, she was outstanding in this game today. So I think she was one of the, top 3-4 in the team in this particular game.
Just from a wider point of view as well, we've seen two English teams in the semi-finals this year. Unfortunately, both failed to get through to the final. But tonight, we've seen a record attendance at the Emirates of over 60,000 people. Again, we're seeing signs year on year, season on season, of how much the women's game is growing in this country.
Yeah, I think we've got to start being a little bit more sort of proactive in terms of foresight associated to the crowds and things like that. You know, I mentioned earlier the finals in a stadium that seats 35,000, which I think is poor, to be honest. You know, collectively there's 60,000 in a semi-final second leg. I mean, we've got to start to expand, you know, the fact that the game's grown so much. Everybody needs to be thinking about stadium games more frequently across the league and across Europe, really, to show that obviously the product is unbelievable. You know, the game's changed completely. The Euros has changed the way that we're thinking about the game and obviously raised the profile. And I think it's just a case of we're actually at a very, very good level, and we sort of keep talking about it being on a journey. And yeah, OK, it's on a journey, but actually proven no end of times now that the game needs to be just accepted that it's actually at a really good level, and we just need to get on with that now and look at the other ways that we can raise the profile a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of a good level, Wolfsburg against Barcelona in that final, it'll be a pretty good game.
It will be a good game for sure. And they play differently as well, so it'll be fiercely contested. And yeah, I think it will be a really good battle, you know, for that game for sure. But it's a shame that we don't have an English team in, and they're so close to it. But obviously, you know, as I say, Arsenal, Chelsea both in semi-finals, that's more than what we've had in the past, and I think that's just going to help to raise the game even more, you know, in England, really.
Rhian, thank you for your company tonight. Not the result that the Arsenal fans wanted, but still a very enjoyable game. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.